Hello students. So today we have come almost to the end of this chapter, the Delhi Sultans, and I'll be discussing with you all the scenario of the Delhi Sultanate in the 15th and the 16th centuries. Now if you look at table 1, which shows the different rulers and dynasties that were ruling over Delhi from the time period that is from 1130 to 1526. Okay. Initially, Delhi was ruled by the Rajputs, the Tomara Rajputs. Then it went into the hands of the Chauhans. The Chauhans were defeated by the Turkish invader Muhammad Ghori in the Second Battle of Turin, which was fought in the year 1192. And soon after the defeat of Prithviraj Chauhan in this battle, Muhammad Ghori led the establishment of Turkish rule in India. Muhammad Ghori, he went back to Ghor, but before leaving to his hometown, he had appointed his most successful general and one of his closest advisor, Qutbuddin Aibak, as the governor of Delhi. Okay, that was considered to be the major transformation of Delhi from becoming a city of rulers. Okay, from just being a mere outpost of a kingdom. Now, so Qutbuddin Aibak, he laid the foundation of the Delhi Sultanate. With the establishment of Delhi Sultanate, a new era began in the history of medieval India. He founded the dynasty founded by Qutbuddin Aibak came to be known as the Slave Dynasty. Now, why this dynasty was known as Slave Dynasty in the history of medieval India? It was because, the rulers who ruled this dynasty were either slaves themselves or were descendants of the slave rulers. So this dynasty came to be known as the Slave Dynasty or the Mamluk Dynasty, and the rulers were also known as Mamluk Sultans. Now, why Mamluk Sultans? Because the word Mamluk refers to slave. Okay, so after the Slave Dynasty, it was the Khaljis who took over the rule, who ruled over the Delhi Sultanate, followed by the Tughlaqs, the Said and the Lodi dynasties, who ruled from Delhi and Agra until 1526. Now, we were talking about Delhi as an important center and important capital, how Delhi became important. So, how did Agra come here? Agra, the Lodhis, when they were ruling over the Delhi Sultanate, the Lodi dynasty was founded by Bahlul Lodi, who was succeeded by Sikandar Lodi. Sikandar Lodi, he built the city of Agra and he shifted his capital to Agra. Okay, so the rulers of Delhi Sultanate, they were ruling from Delhi and Agra until 1526. Now, during this time period, the rulers who were during this time period from 1206 to 1526, Delhi was initially an infant empire, baby empire, okay, and that baby empire was it was initially a garrison town, and from the garrison town, the rulers, the sultans, whoever they have ascended the throne, they stretched the empire and had brought many regions under their control. They stretched the empire in such a way that most of the regions in the east, west and south were controlled by the Delhi Sultan, especially during the reign of Alauddin Khilji and Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Now, but to rule such a vast empire was not an easy task. It was quite difficult because making Delhi as a center and to control the entire Indian subcontinent was not an easy task. So that is why, very often what happened, these rulers who had control over these areas like Jaunpur, Bengal, Malwa, Gujarat, Rajasthan, South India, parts of South India, Deccan, they controlled for a short time and almost it went from their hands, because some of the regions, they had very different type of terrains like rocky mountains, then most of the forested areas, like the chieftains who were ruling in the forested areas in Ganga, Yamuna, that region, because that was forest which was cleared by the Delhi Sultanate, Delhi Sultans. And what they did, they were living inside the bamboo groves, and those bamboos were intertwined in such a way that it was very strong. It was very difficult for soldiers or for rulers to bring those chieftains under their control, because they cannot penetrate through that bamboo grooves, because they not only live inside the bamboo grooves, but even cattle and agriculture was also done there, and they stored rainwater. So it was quite difficult for all the rulers ruling over Delhi Sultanate to bring these chieftains or certain areas which had very difficult terrains to under their control. It was possible only by the powerful rulers and who had a very strong army. They could only penetrate in these areas. So that is why what happened, once when these rulers, after the death of these rulers, especially regions like Jaunpur, Bengal, Malwa, Gujarat, Rajasthan, and the entire South India had independent rulers who established flourishing states and prosperous capitals. Even this period had witnessed the emergence of new ruling groups like the Afghans and the Rajputs, because the Rajputs were also, they were planning to come back again into power and to rule over the Indian subcontinent. On the other hand, in 1526, as I told you that Babur had defeated Ibrahim Lodi, the last ruler of the Delhi Sultanate, and he had founded a new empire, that is Mughal Empire. Okay, so what happened? Babur started ruling over the Indian subcontinent since from 1526, right? Now, we have seen the new ruling groups like Afghans and the Rajputs, they have become very powerful. The Lodhis were Afghans, right? The Lodhis were Afghans, because the Lodhis, especially Daulat Khan Lodi, he invited Babur to attack Ibrahim Lodi. Okay, because but he thought that after defeating Ibrahim Lodi, Babur will return to his hometown. But Babur did not do that. He laid the foundation of a new empire, that is Mughal Empire in India. That was, so the Afghans, it was a severe, it was a kind of a severe blow to the Afghans and the Rajputs, because they were planning to come back. Both the Afghans and the Rajputs, they were planning to come back and to rule over the Delhi Sultanate or the entire Indian subcontinent, So that is why they became very powerful during this period and emerged as new ruling groups, the Afghans and the Rajputs. Some of the states established in this period were small. They were small. Some states which were established or which had prosperous capitals, they were small states, but they were very powerful. For example, let's take the example of Sher Shah Sur. Sher Shah Sur, he had started his career as a manager of a small territory, of his uncle in Bihar. And eventually he became, in course of time, he became so powerful and that he defeated the Mughal Emperor Humayun. And he ruled for a period of 15 years. For 15 years, Humayun had to remain in exile. He had to leave the Indian subcontinent and had to take shelter in Persia. Okay, so it was Sher Shah Suri who captured Delhi, and he established his own dynasty, which came to be known as the Sur dynasty. the Sur dynasty, Sher Shah Suri, he ruled for a very small period, for a short period of time, that is from 1540 to 1545. But the Sur dynasty, it continued for 15 years, from 1540 to 1555 CE. Now, this period of Sher Shah Suri from 1540 to 1545, he introduced an administration which was borrowed from Alauddin Khalji and made it more efficient. Sher Shah Suri was known as a reformer, as a great administrator, and after establishing the Sur dynasty, he laid more emphasis on introducing many reforms which benefited the common man. Okay, so he introduced an administration in such a way that he had borrowed all the good elements, the best elements from the administration of Alauddin Khalji and made it more efficient. Okay, so his administration became the model. Sher Shah Suri's administration became a model which was followed by the great emperor Akbar. Okay, when he consolidated the Mughal Empire. It was in 1556, from 1540 to 1555, Akbar, the Sur dynasty, they ruled over the medieval, they ruled over the medieval Indian history. You will see that Sur dynasty, the period of Sur dynasty, and that period is also known as Afghan interlude, because this period in the Mughal history, it was ruled by the Afghans. That is why it is known as Afghan interlude, the period from 1540 to 1555. That small period of 15 years. But that 15 years had contributed a lot in the administration, especially Akbar. It is said that Akbar followed his predecessor Sher Shah. Sher Shah was considered as a predecessor of Akbar because Akbar followed the footsteps of Sher Shah in establishing an efficient administration, Mughal administration in the history of medieval India. Okay.